Because like I said, your $350 can literally save you probably 35 grand. I had another one, 45,000 to clean it up, and they had to jack up the back of the house because they had to go under the house to get the dirt. It's a long, tedious, and expensive process. Then if you look at all the major stuff, start looking at the cosmetics. What sells homes? Kitchens and baths, right? Kitchens and baths. Everything, new items, especially in flips. Why do you think people like flips? Everything's new. Man, everything looks new. And it's funny, the buyers, when they first come through, they often don't look at the major stuff. They don't look for the electrical, the roof, you know, the heating. They look at how pretty is the kitchen, how pretty is the bathroom, and then the home inspector gets into all the big stuff, right? So the cosmetics are huge. And like I was saying in here somewhere, you don't have to go overboard. Like, don't blow your budget. Always stay at whatever you budgeted. If you get into a flip, do not go over your budget. Go over your budget, you're going to hurt yourself. But I see people sometimes, they go overboard for no reason. You know, you can buy a $150 vanity at Home Depot that looks really nice, and it'll probably sell in a $150,000 house to a $350,000 house. Now, if you're in like Ocean City or something, you know, you're $500 million, you might have to go a little nicer. But point is, you don't have to go crazy on most of the homes on the mainland Atlantic County. You know, $150 vanity is okay. You know, the not bottom grade, but like maybe the step up, second grade at Home Depot cabinets are okay. You know, you don't have to go nuts on what you put in it. You can't really see it, but this is like a repair estimator. One of my clients uses. They paid, just to give you an example, they go to this class called Fortune Builders. Anybody heard of it? Yeah. Yeah. This guy spent $65,000 over the last 18 months on this program. They have systems, and basically they give them all the forms and how you do it and things like that. Very, very, very expensive. And then he came to me after he spent the $65,000 and asked how to do it. And so I did it. And that guy, I tell you what though, he went from doing, in 2015 he came to my office, he did zero. Never bought anything besides his own house. Last year he bought 22 properties. So he definitely turned it up. And this is Fortune Builders. But again, an Excel spreadsheet is fine. Just figure out everything on the list, roof to the toilet. Put it on the list, and then from there, write in your numbers from the contractors are giving you. Now, if you're going to get a contractor to give you an estimate, they're going to write all this down. But you want a list so you can make sure you check off what it needs. It needs a roof. It doesn't need siding. It needs a kitchen. It doesn't need a bathroom. Follow? Because a lot of people, they walk into a property, you know, they can feel like, no, they'll walk into this, say, I'm going to go check out this property. They walk in the property, they come back, but what do you think I should offer? And I'll say, did you look at the heater? And they'll say, no. I'm like, well, how do you know what you're going to put in it if you don't look at everything? You know what I mean? You have to look at everything. When you're there to look at a property, look at it. Look at the heater, look at the panel, take pictures, look at the roof, look at everything.
Due diligence.
Exactly. You're buying it for yourself. You'd be amazed how many even agents will do more work for their clients than they'll even do for themselves. They'll actually do the due diligence, call the city, do this, do that, and then when I ask them, hey, did you look at the roof? And they'll be like, no. I'm like, well, what are you doing? You're buying a house, you don't know if you need a roof or not. What kind of siding was it? I don't know.
Is it possible to get like a copy of that?
This, no, because it's copyrighted and they would literally sue me probably.
Oh,
This I can give you a copy of.
Okay.
I'll email it to you guys. If you guys, everybody signing that sign-in sheet?
No.
Whatever it is? Thank you. This is my, I developed this. This is not rocket science. It's basically how I calculate putting in an offer. So basically I start with the ARV. How much are you going to sell this property for? I go to a property, I look at it. Like, let's see that Mill Road I showed earlier. That property is probably 3 bed, 2 bath, probably 179. I can sell it for 179 on the back end. My profit goal is usually $30,000 to start. That's what I want to make. I want to make $30,000. Closing cost and holding cost is 10% of the ARV. So whatever my ARV is, I'm taking off 10%. And when I say closing costs and holding costs, that's my closing costs when I buy it, closing costs and commissions when I sell it, and interest during the term, and utilities, insurance, stuff like that. The cost of money. I usually fill this out last, but it's 16% of what you project to borrow. So I usually come back to that last because I can't figure that out until I figure out the bottom numbers. Rehab cost, how much is it gonna cost me to rehab? I'll give you an example, I'll do an example. So do that, if I do that 179 house, so I got 179,000. Profit goal is 30. Holding cost 10%. 16.
18,
Right,
30,
16% of the money. Rehab cost, let's say it's 50 grand to rehab it.
50,
I can do the numbers so much quicker in my head. Money to repair plus 10%. Rehab cost, money to repair plus 10% contingency.
around 80,000.
I always, so if I say 50, if I go down the numbers in my head, when I do, either, what's it say, if your contractor gives you a number or you do numbers, add 10% to it. So if it's 50, add 5 grand. You'll always, 90% of the time you will use the contingency money. Always have a buffer in there. When I do the 10% here, use this 10% rule and it calculates for a 6% commission. And because you're selling it, if you end up selling it yourself, which I don't do, but you can if you want, you can save yourself the 3%. As long as you do 2 sales a year in the office, you can sell your own properties for no commission. So if you want, you could do no commission, or if you're capped, you don't pay it anyway. But my offer, so the offer is ARV, which is the first one. Profit, number 2, ARV minus profit, minus closing cost, minus the cost of money, minus rehab, and that brings you to the offer. So you just follow this. When I send you this, there's going to be numbers here. When we put it in here, it kind of squished it. So I'll email this to you.
And that offer, about 80,000?
Yeah.
You would have offered on that house?
Yeah, I'll tell you now. So I would start with 179. I want to say 55,000 for work. I know it's just going to be, on this price, it's going to be about 12 or 13 grand in hard money. So I usually use just 12 grand, and then use 10%, say about 15,000 for the closing costs, and then $30,000 profit, 67,000. That's what I would have offered.
The hard money's, where do you track the hard money? Rehab
The hard
cost money?
is right here.
Okay.
The cost of money. I put the cost of money.
Okay.
Because I put 16%. This is if you're going to use a hard money company. You can still use that to make a buffer, but if you're going to do like an equity line of credit or, for 5%, you're going to save a lot of money. But what I've found is even the companies, people are saying, oh, I'm only paying 12%. No matter what it is, if you're going through a hard money company, you're paying 16%. Because whether you're paying 10%, 12%, you're paying points and fees, it ends up being 16%. I haven't found a lender at the end of the day that's charging less overall than 16%. Unless you're doing a shit ton of them, and then they're giving a really, really good rate. So I'll email this to you as long as you fill out that form. So once you have your offer and your rehab calculations, make your offer. I didn't put a lot of information about how I make offers, but I'll talk a little bit about it. Offers are like the same thing like anything else. If you want to get listings or work with sellers, what are you doing? You're focusing on sellers, right? If you want to work with investors, what are you doing? You're focusing on investors. If you want to get properties, you have to focus on a way to get the offers in consistently and routinely, systematically. You have to hit every aspect. So basically, you have to be on the MLS or getting blast emails from yourself of good properties every single day, multiple times a day. You have to be glued to that MLS. You have to be glued to these Hubzu sites, Exhume sites, what else? Auction.com. All these sites, I would set yourself up on some sort of email so you get this stuff. You're not going to be the first in or the best offer if you're a week late with the offer. You have to be on it. You have to be on it. Every day we submit probably 15 to 20 offers. We have a system in place and we just consistently make the offers. If you ever want to ask Katie and Olga are actually very knowledgeable of this stuff. If you've ever had a property that needed work, you've probably got an offer from me. There's not much under 100,000 in Atlantic County that we did not make an offer on. When I say that, I mean that literally. There is probably nothing under 100,000, besides from Atlantic City, that we have not made an offer on. And basically, we're just throwing shit against the wall and see what sticks. So if you ever get an offer from me, don't be offended. Tell yourself not to be offended. We're just seeing if you're willing to work with us. That's it. Because a lot of times, what you think is a good price for somebody to buy and move into it. To buy it and flip it is a completely different number. It's just what it is.
How do commissions work for when you're buying for yourself? Like,
You buying for yourself?
like,
Keep it.
so we would still get the commission. but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
ours.
Oh yeah, it's yours. Yeah, I just bought a property for myself to move into, and it's I got $6,000 back. It's awesome.
When
So
you
yeah,
work with other agents, Shawn, do you still take your side of the commission, or do you give that agent the whole commission, buying it in as an investment?
if I sell it through them,
No,
I
you-
give them the whole thing.
You give them the whole?
Yeah,
thing?
I give them. I
So
don't.
if you
Well,
buy it through them, you still take your,
if I buy it through that
as a
agent,
buyer, you still take your buyer's agent commission, right?
if I'm the buyer's agent, yes. Oh yeah, if
Okay.
I'm the buyer's agent, I take the commission. When I relist it, I'll relist it
With that
through.
agent, because they sold it to you?
Sometimes, yeah,
Sometimes,
exactly. Yeah,
okay.
it depends on like if they got. Yeah, depends. Let's put it this way: if I'm gonna give them the back end list price, it was probably because I gave them the front end to get the deal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but if I know if I put my offer directly through one of these bank-owned agents, because it's gonna have 17 offers, I might have a better chance of getting it. Therefore, if I put my offer through them, I'll probably give them the listing on the back end, yeah. But honestly, most times I put the offer in my name through me as the agent, and then have one people, either whoever I'm partnering with on it or somebody on my team listed. Once you have offer, make your offers. Some things to keep in mind when rehabbing a property: you want to stay within budget. Depending on the location and the ARV, do not have to go overboard. Like I was saying, don't. I see so many people, like the guy I was telling you, Fortune Builders. The first flip he bought, it was on Linden Avenue in EHT, back off Franklin there, that little dead end street. Beautiful. He paid like $90,000 for it, but it only needed like $7 grand. It was the best flip to buy as a first time flip. He did everything that I told him not to do. I told him to get a survey, he didn't get a survey. He didn't get a survey, and then we realized, thank God, I measured off the property, I walked it off, and realized that he was supposed to be buying 100 feet, and on the survey, it only showed, we didn't do a survey. Basically, he should have had 100 feet, but the contract of sale was only giving us the lot and block for 50 feet. And the bank owned the other, coincidentally, the bank ended up owning the other lot, and that's where the septic was. The septic was literally on the other lot. So he needed the other lot to sell the whole package. So I'm telling you, as just an advisory, always get a survey. It's 99% of the time you will not need it. It's the 1% of the time you will. I sold a property one time where Galloway and Mays Landing on Route 50 literally went down the center of the house. So Mays Landing was this side of the house, Galloway was this side of the house. We didn't get a survey. It caused such a D problem at the end. It ended up taking us 2 months extra to close after we got a new survey. But this guy, he didn't do anything I told him to do. The kitchen was beautiful. He wanted the countertops higher, this new thing where the countertops are higher. He ripped all the cabinets out, and then ended up not being able to save the cabinets, so he destroyed an entire kitchen just because he thought he wanted to braise them up. He ended up painting the same cabinets before he just destroyed them. My point is, you don't have to go berserko. Figure out what, a nice Home Depot or nice, what's that? Tri-County kitchen, they have kitchen designs. What a decent kitchen like that would sell, what would the house would sell for with that kind of stuff in it. I've heard people spend $15,000 on a kitchen in EHT on a flip. I mean, that's absurd. I don't think I've ever spent more than $7 grand on a kitchen anywhere. I just did one in Summers Point for $220,000. So, you can usually get away with decent stuff. Granite, I would go the level 1 granite. Don't go crazy. Depending on the location of the ARV, don't go crazy. Blah blah blah. Get a reliable, reasonable contractor that does good work. This is probably the third most important thing. After you buy it for the right number, get a good ARV and the contractor. You can get a contractor with your eyes closed. Finding a contractor that can fit in your budget, that will show up to work and, you know, will do decent work is the hard part. I can get a contract, I can get 10 contractors tomorrow to line up and give you estimates on a flip. The problem is that 9 out of 10 of them are gonna be way over any number that you can make, that you can be competitive on an offer. You know, when I'm getting done for 60,000, they're probably charging 90,000. So you really gotta, like people, like, I have 5 guys, this is all they do, this is their job. They buy and sell homes. I tell them, their lead generation is lead generating for contractors. That's all they ever have to do, is lead generating for contractors and money. Always be pitching for money, always be pitching for a contractor. Because if you don't have those 2 pieces, then you can't. No money, you can't buy. No contractor, you can't fix.
Do you have a contractor like a general, your general contractor?
Yeah.
That's what you're dealing
Me
with?
personally, I don't sub out the work. I have one guy, A to Z. The only thing he doesn't do is landscaping and appliances. I order the appliances and
Does he sub it out? Does he bring people
he
in?
subs out the heater guy, the electrician, and the plumber.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, he'll do minor, you know, light fixtures or something, but he subs everybody out. I don't, you could probably save money subbing it out yourself. In fact, I know you could save money subbing it out to just a contractor to do all the general construction stuff, heater guy, electrician, plumber. You could definitely, even going more in detail, like getting a flooring guy to do the flooring, you know, roofer to do roofer, siding to do siding. You can save money if you're willing to take the time to sub everything out yourself. You definitely will save money. It's just more time consuming. That's all.
and you gotta put that on a time basis too. One thing has to
Exactly.
be done before the other thing.
Exactly. What is your time worth? You know, I mean, you know, if you have time in your hands, you'll save money. I don't have time in my hands.
What if you have an investor buying a flip, and they
Yeah.
want you to find them the property? Now they're saying, okay, I look out the area for you, can you, get your contractors out there? So now you're doing that work also for them.
You are? I
Yeah,
don't know.
because they want you to
Tell them to make
find.
a partner.
Huh?
Tell them to make you a partner. There's a guy, there's another investor I have, he actually, because he doesn't live here, he doesn't live around here, he actually made his contractor, his, kind of like, he named him his project manager / contractor, and he gives him 25% of the profit. Because basically he's doing everything. The guy's in Virginia, while he's buying a house here, he hasn't ever seen it. He's not overseeing the project, you know what I mean?
But if it's a rental, you can't, you know.
Yeah, there's not much profit in there.
Yeah.
So he wants you to get a contractor to fix it? I mean,
Give him
it's,
an estimate of like how
Yeah.
much it's gonna cost for, like to get it up
Yeah.
to par to rent.
I mean, I guess you look at it, he's gonna buy more? Will he buy more properties or not?
He's a client,
Yeah.
past client, so I wanna give him good service.
Yeah, there you go, so you just help him out, you know? I would suggest go get permits if you need to. You know, trying to squeak around permits is just, you might find yourself in trouble later. I just had a call this morning at 8:30 from one of my clients, and it's under contract. The buying agent said the buyer went to the city, asked about this wall that was removed, because the seller happened to be there, and he said, I removed this wall, and he went in the attic, and there's a beam up there, you know, so he put the beam in to take out the wall, and he's asked my seller, hey, did you go to the city, did you get this inspected? He said, yeah, I got a construction inspection, and he did, and so I called him back, because the buyer went to the city, and the city told him, no, they didn't check out that beam, and so I called my seller, I said, hey, did you have him check out that beam? He said, yeah, well, he was in the house, he was in the attic, and I was like, oh, he was? So he checked it out? Oh, yeah, he checked it out. I was okay, because he went down there, and they said he didn't put that on there. And he says, no, they checked it. This morning he called me back, he says, I don't know, I went to the city and they said they didn't see the beam. And I was like, all right, whatever. I said, okay, just go down, now he's gotta get an engineer, drawings, prints, open up the building permit, back up, get it re-inspected, and we have 10 days to close. So all that would have been avoided, and he did it the right way. It's not even like he did it the wrong way, he did it the right way. Just go get the permit at the beginning. Now he's gonna pay extra costs, more time, and maybe not to make closing, and now you got a buyer thinking, so is this guy full of shit on everything, or just this part? You know what I mean? So just get a permit. It's really not that costly and that much time. listing the property for sale, do your comps like any other property. Me, time is money. I don't wanna wait long. I wanna buy it, fix it, and sell it in 6 months. I've never, knock on wood, in the last 5 years, held anything longer than 6 months. So, you know, I'm not overpricing it. I wanna actually put it at a price that somebody thinks is a good deal, so that it moves very quickly. Most of my properties and listings sell 30, 60 days, most of the flips. I always offer a 1-year home warranty. That will save on the buyers calling me back 6 months later, 3 months later. You know, they have somebody else they can call. A lot of times I'll give them my cell phone number in case something we did doesn't work right, it breaks. You know, 'cause I don't want to give them a crappy house. Yet if they have a home warranty, it might help me with something that breaks that maybe had to do with us, but not had to do with us. It might be a fine line. It's just another avenue, and it makes them feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Again, I rarely list my own properties. It's too much of a liability, and it's more comfortable for the agents and buyers not dealing directly with the seller. It just is, and even the agents as well. That's it. After you sell this property, go on to the next property, because depending on how you do on your first property, the profit margin, what you made, is really how you're going to figure out if you're going to buy the second property. If you did horribly bad, you might not have the stomach for it. You might want to go back for a second time. If you did really, really good, you might end up having, you do enough flips, you get enough money to do it cash. Not to get a hard money loan or a mortgage.
Who do you list your properties with? Somebody in the office?
It depends on, you know, like this, right now I'm listing one with Olga, and then actually Olga's doing one, I'm listing hers. Like I've done properties with Dan Rollo, Hatter, Howard.
Right,
So
okay.
usually whoever the partner is, I'll let them list it.
Yeah. And if they bought it to you or
Exactly,
whatever.
exactly.
And you use
Those
it-
all properties they brought to me, I did a partnership with them where they'll claim part of the taxes, but they're not on the deed. So I just have them listed. I just listed one with Monica from Coldwell Banker. She brought me something about a year ago. I actually rented it out for a year, and she listed that. So it really depends on usually who's involved, whoever brings it to me or helps me with it.
Did you use an LLC or you?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually used
Sole
to use an
proprietor.
LLC all the time. Then I stopped using an LLC because my hard money guy didn't require it. Now I just bought another one. I had to use an LLC. All my rentals are in an LLC. All my flips, the first 5 years were in an LLC. The last 10 years or so have not, my flips have not been in LLC up until the last one I just bought a week ago. And that's because I'm sure these are the hard money guys. How you doing? Most hard money companies, they want you to use an LLC to do a loan. So if you're gonna use a hard money company, is that true?
Yes.
All right, good.
Unless there's extenuating circumstances where you can't, then we'll let you do it in person.
Cool, awesome, man. That's what I figured. I have so many LLCs. I just,
What's the reason for that?
what's the reason for it?
Yeah, for them wanting an LLC versus.
Yeah, because technically it's a commercial loan and it just has to do with, you don't want to be predatory lending, so
Yeah.
we don't want to
Okay.
lend to somebody in a personal name because then it could be construed as, primary residence. this
Hey,
and
if you
that.
want to come up, I'll introduce you guys. You guys speaking today?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, come on up whenever you want, man. Take your jacket off.
Yeah.
Stay comfortable. Yeah.
Some
That's what I figured, because I think it's easier to foreclose, right? Basically.
Right, right.
They don't want to foreclose on Joe homeowner, but ABC LLC, they'll be more comfortable foreclosing on it.
Right.
Sean,
So I haven't met these guys yet, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
Hey,
Anthony,
Sean and Brian, nice to meet you.
Anthony Palmiotto.
Sean,
Corey.
nice to meet you, man, pleasure.
Yeah, First Equity Funding, so.
Cool, man. Do you need something up here? Do you want anything up here?
We have a PowerPoint, we'll put it up, I guess.
Do you? Okay, cool. Yeah, go for it.
Sean, what do you do with
And then you can get in yours. And I'll answer your question, Tony. What's that?
what do you do when you have an investor that just doesn't kind of go with your guidelines with like your advice?
There you go. You can just type whatever you want in there and open up the tab.
I had an investor that purchased a property, and everything he wanted to do was too high end. He overdid it,
Yeah.
and he wound up, I think, losing money or breaking even on the deal.
I mean, well, I'll say this. Most of my investors, I will tell them stay under 200,000.